Why, hello. Hello, everybody. My name is Markiplier. This feels a little appropriate for this particular stream, not gonna lie. Yeah. What's good, y'all? How's it going? How's it going? How's it going? How are we? Like, for real. I didn't open up my chat. Whoops. How are we doing? Hope we're all doing well. I don't know what entirely to expect when doing this stream. Because we're going to be doing some Fnaf. We're going to be doing some Five Nights at Freddy's related stuff. And quite frankly, I am actually pretty interested in doing this. Because I have a whole host of things to say. Yeah, we just chillin', we hanging here, we chillin'. Yeah, what's good, y'all? How are we doing? Let me check on one of my friends who's streaming right now. Yeah. Oh, geez, I just realized I should probably load up the actual, like stream on my end. Let's see. Hello! What's good? What's good, y'all? How are we doing? What's good? I hope we're all doing well. And if not, hope I can make your day just a little better. But yeah, I'm really interested in doing this thing. I don't know. Oh my god. Alright. Man, there's a lot of stuff I have open. But hey everyone. Well, I should probably add my Oh, I thought for a second I wasn't doing anything there. Okay. Yeah. I hope this works. I really hope this works. If not, I'm gonna be feeling really awkward. Whew. Okay. So, chat. Well, yeah. We'll probably be playing some Fnaf, and then we're gonna be ranking some Fnaf, and I hope this works. I have no idea how this is gonna work, all honesty. Let's see. Let me actually try this. If I load up one of my Fnaf games right now, on which monitor is it gonna load on? The third one. Okay. Holy jeezums. Okay. So I have to load this on on my okay, well this is the tier list, but if I were to do this, make it so people see my display, switch it over to this. Yeah, because this is my display. I have so much stuff on here, but oh, why is it like that? Oh, that's so weird. That's so weird. This is so strange. Yeah, never mind. Scratch that. It's best not to get caught. Maybe we do this instead. So if we do this, let's try it. Does this work? There, that's better? I hope that's better. I can't even open up chat. Oh my god, hang on. Dude, if I want to open up my chat, I have to close Fnaf for a second. This is so annoying. Why is the game set up like this, dude? Genuinely, why is the game set up like that? Oh my god. This is so scuffed. This is so obnoxiously scuffed. Just for shits and giggles, I'm gonna 1020 mode? Oh my god. Alright. Cool, I guess. I guess this is cool. Why not? So silly. Why am I doing this? I could be doing other things, and right now this is what I'm doing. Alright. Cool. My game crash? Wow, good job, game. My game crashed. From me opening the camera. That was quick. You know what? I'm actually gonna be right back. Okay, hi, I'm back. Sorry. I had to take care of something. But yeah. I'm gonna see if I can properly load this up again. Who am I kidding? No one's gonna watch this. Oh my god. Alright. Let's try this again. Let's try and load up Fnaf. Let's just try and load up Fnaf. Dear God, I hope this works. Okay. Now just because. Why not? Just why not, dude? I'm bored. I'm really bored. Did it crash again? Dude. What the fuck? I can't even play FNAF without it crashing on me. Like 5 seconds in. What the hell's going on? But like, what actually is going on? I don't know what's happening. I'm gonna try it one more time, I guess? If it crashes on me again, we're just gonna go straight to the ranking. Yeah. I don't know why it does that. Why does it do that? I opened the camera once this time. What's going on? Oh well. Oh, frickin' well. Alright, well, I'll just do the thing. Right. Okay, so we're gonna be doing a tier list. I am basing this strictly on whether I think the gameplay as well as like the principle of it is like good. I'm basing it based on, wow, that's great content. Oh my gosh. If there's like fundamental issues with it, it's obviously going to be drastically lower. So, and be warned, this is me very, very brutally ranking these games. So, expect me to rant a lot about these games. Oh, hang on, I should probably... Let me put on some music, why not? Hello, Matthew. Welcome to the stream. Also, hello, Math, who said salute. Is that a spider, PFP? Okay. try this. Alright, starting off, as people will probably do with FNAF 1, I think this is as perfect as the series will get. And the reason why is because the actual gameplay loop, in my opinion, is fantastic. It is very well done. The atmosphere is incredible. If you just play the game and don't explore the actual map, you're not going to find anything when it comes to the lore. But if you decide to explore, you will be rewarded sometimes with clues as to what happened to the restaurant. And I think that's pretty well done. And also, as I'm saying, like, gameplay-wise, I think it's really good. Yeah, there's 2 beginner animatronics. And they're both dealt with in the same way. Then you're introduced to another animatronic, being Foxy, who introduces a completely different mechanic. You have to watch them. You have to watch Foxy and keep them away. I don't know why I'm saying them. It's we are pronoun affirming, by the way. But yeah, Foxy introduces a whole new mechanic for you to keep watch of. And then by the time the 3rd night rolls around, you think you have everything nailed. That is, until Freddy leaves the stage. And then it makes you have to go back and rethink a strategy on how to deal with everyone, including Freddy. Because initially, Freddy was never actually supposed to move off of the stage at all. Which, by the way, if that was the case in the final build, I think the game would be much lower on this tier list. But I'm really glad that Freddy does move around. Because, good God. I think his jump scare, his scare in, when it comes to having I think his scare when he sneaks into the office on the right side is the best jump scare in FNAF 1. But then there's also, like, Golden Freddy, which, you know, again, it goes back to the whole thing of, if you explore around the restaurant, you will be rewarded with some crazy RNG. My only complaint with this game is that it is really, really awkward to try and capture on a recording software. If you click off of the game for any reason, the game also becomes invisible and freezes. Why? Why does it do that? So, other than that, I think this is as perfect as the game will be. Moving on to FNAF 2. So, here is where I start to say some stuff that might piss people off. The reason why I say that is because I think FNAF 2 is a sharp downgrade from FNAF 1. And it's really weird because I used to think that FNAF 2 was really good. I wanted to play FNAF 2 the absolute most when I was a kid. And now that I got to, like, sit down and play through a lot of these, I was thinking, wait a minute. This fundamentally kind of sucks. And here's the reason why, right? Well, there's a couple reasons. First off, almost everyone, most of the animatronics are dealt with in the same way. There are only 2.5 animatronics that will bypass the mask mechanic. And I say 2.5 because we do have a slight little wrinkle of a certain golden bear. That is the puppet, which dictates the entire flow of how your gameplay is gonna look. It makes it so you just it's irrelevant to look at any other camera. Foxy, who is also my least favorite animatronic in the entire series. And lastly is Golden Freddy in the hallway, but I don't know. Again, that doesn't really count. So yeah. And then also because like occasionally I do like the difficulty modes, Toy Bonnie is annoying. He introduces an entire RNG mechanic where it's just like he could choose to delay his entry into the office from the vent when you have the mask on, you know? And doing that wastes time of which you could have been using for literally anything else. And that is annoying. I think the reason why I also have Foxy as my least favorite animatronic in the entire series is because when I also finally got to play Fnaf 2, my computer was really laggy. And it made it so I was stuck on the camera. It's so dumb that can happen, by the way. But having the camera up like that basically guarantees that you will die to Foxy. Because Foxy can still kill you on the camera. Your camera can be stuck on the screen, on the full screen, and Foxy's animation will load onto the camera and it will still kill you. And that is annoying. Dear God, he is my least favorite animatronic. I hate him. Hello, Bear Trap. Welcome to the stream. So yeah. I don't think Fnaf 2 is good. I'm gonna put it right there. Yeah, but frame mogging. Yeah, but the thing is, you can't frame mog, like doing that. Well, you can. You can frame mog, but I didn't have access to that. So, back then, yeah. Weird question, what's up? Yeah, I don't think Fnaf 2 is good. Because fundamentally, there is one mechanic that dictates like how you play, and if you don't do it, you die for it. You die for not doing it. Not trying to make things weird, but can we collab? I want to help. I mean, you can put like your thoughts in the stream chat. That's probably like the best way I want to do it. I respectfully, I don't know you, and I understand that like you probably want to do this, but like I don't know you, and I don't want to have you like put off by like what I say, because I don't want to risk things getting really barbaric and stuff, because I know this type of list can be really debated. And also, like, I don't have knowledge on certain games, so yeah. So yeah, I understand the like you want to do it, but respectfully I have to decline. Yeah, Fnaf 2 I don't think is good, but lore-wise, I do like that there was a lot more stuff that was revealed. We got the first instance of William Afton. We saw how the puppet came to be, even though that was retconned. I don't know really why the Foxy Go 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 minigame was shown, but it does play into a theory where, oh, that is the original Freddy's Pizza. So I think lore-wise, it's really cool. Even the Shadow animatronics, Shadow Bonnie and Shadow Freddy, I think those are cool. But I'm also not really ranking these games based on like how cool the lore was. That said, unless it plays directly into their gameplay, and that is why I have FNAF here, like FNAF 1 at the very top, because you like doing like certain things in the gameplay will reward you with the lore. Okay. Moving on to FNAF 3. I also think this game is bad. But not because you deal with everything the same way, because there's only one animatronic. The reason why I think FNAF 3 is not great is because it is painfully boring. The gameplay is not fun. It's at least a little more, like, chill from FNAF 2. Oh, and that's another thing with FNAF 2. The game is so hard. For anyone, like, playing it, that is probably the hardest FNAF game for people to play. Minus Ultimate Custom Night, which we'll get to in a bit. But yeah, FNAF 3, it's significantly easier, and even the 20 mode, aggressive nightmare mode is far easier than what FNAF 1 and 2 have. But even then, like, I think FNAF 1's 20 mode is really easy. Oh no, I gotta think. Yeah. Oop, and I'm hungry. FNAF 3, like I said, so the gameplay is boring. I think it's cool that there's one animatronic, but also I really don't like either of his jump scares. They are not scary whatsoever. And that was a complaint that Scott took to heart when he made FNAF 4, which we'll get to in a bit. But FNAF 3, there's 2 endings that you can get, and unless you do exactly everything right, you will not get the good ending. And oftentimes this means that you will have to do a second playthrough of FNAF 3, because no one's gonna know about the good ending on their first blind playthrough. But if you want to get the good ending after you've beaten the game, you have to do a second playthrough through the entire game again. And I am not entirely sure. Well, that's not entirely true, actually. Hello, Sanemi. Welcome to the stream. So, like I said... Okay, that thing that I said before, that's not entirely true. You are actually... Okay, unlike with... How do I want to phrase this, man? How do I actually want to phrase this? The fact you have FNAF 2 on bad is insane. Okay, listen, I'm brutally ranking them. Like, I'm gonna be really, really critical on these games. I already explained on why I said them, on why I said it was bad. Because fundamentally, I think it is flawed. So, yeah. But yeah, FNAF 3, it does give you hints on how to get the good ending. But you only find them in the left hallway of the Freddy's Pizzeria, like, pixel, like, thing. If you don't do that, you still won't know how to get the good ending. I don't know. Yeah, those are just my main complaints. The gameplay, like, is boring, and if you want to get some of the different endings, you practically need a walkthrough. Can you do a character tier list next? Oh boy. You know what? Sure, why not? I might do that, actually. Okay. Let's move on to FNAF 4. I'm gonna put it in meh. And the reason why is because gameplay, we are back. The gameplay, in my opinion, in FNAF 4 is really good. And this is the result of Scott taking the criticism of the jump scares in FNAF 3 not being scary to heart. Because these jump scares are scary. These scares are good, man. And something else that I really like with the main gameplay loop, you know, with Freddy, Bonnie, Chica, Foxy. Well, especially Bonnie and Chica, but I guess everyone, like, here, aside from the boss characters. I really like that dying in this game is usually your fault. And I mean, like, directly your fault. It's the same where it's like, okay, FNAF 1, 2, and 3, if you don't do these things, like, yeah, you will die for it. But FNAF 4 requires that you click a button or you listen and click a button. If you click the incorrect button, it's your fault and you die for it. I really like that. The atmosphere, in my opinion, also is incredible. But the reason why I'm going to put this in meh is because of Nightmare Fredbear and Nightmare. Those guys are dicks. And I really don't like that they introduce an RNG mechanic into the game. And the main RNG mechanic I'm talking about is the their fake laughs. They can laugh and move to either the bed or the closet, but if you hear a laugh and footsteps, there's a chance that that might have been a fake laugh and he is still in the hallways. And it's gotten multiple people playing through the game, and it causes them to unfairly die for it, in my opinion. It's especially bad with Nightmare. Otherwise, I think the gameplay is, like, fine. And then, like, it's necessitated that you actually, like, pay attention to what's going on. You will see the funny bite meme happen in front of you after you complete night 5. And you can choose to do night 6 and 7. I don't know. I think gameplay wise, FNAF 4 is really good. But I'm also gonna not have it imperfect because of the 2 boss characters that you see. And one thing that I do like though is that the fun with plush trap sections actually do like impact your gameplay, because it advances you 2 hours into the night, which is huge for like a blind playthrough in my opinion. Only problem is I think it's gonna be moot if you're playing night 5 for the first time and you don't know how Fredbear works. Now, let's going from FNAF 4 to Halloween Edition. I guess we'll count these as separate games. I do not like FNAF 4 Halloween. And the reason why is because of Nightmare Mangle. I don't know why Scott thought it was a good idea to have Mangle's static play throughout the entirety of the background whenever Mangle is inside your closet. It takes the core gameplay mechanic that worked in the vanilla version of FNAF 4 and it completely dumpsters it in the Halloween edition, because you have 2 sounds that you have to deal with, one of which is far more annoying and obstructs the other. And it makes gameplay significantly harder. And like unironically, Mangle is the worst part of FNAF 4 Halloween, in my opinion. And it also like doesn't help that like not every animatronic was changed. In fact, I think everyone except for Fredbear and Freddy were changed. And I don't know why. But oh well, I guess. And there's like certain cheats that you can play with as well. I think aggressive Foxy in Closet is what it's called. And it automatically puts Foxy into the closet. But if you're playing Halloween Edition, it's not Foxy, it's Mangle. So you have to deal with Mangle's stupid static that obstructs the breathing that you need to listen for. I don't know. I think Halloween Edition for FNAF 4 is not a good game. There's another fundamental flaw with Halloween Edition, and that's what it is. You can make the argument that, oh, if you're watchful of the hallways, you can keep Mangle out of the closet. Yeah, but most of the time people are not going to do that. Mangle is still going to get into the closet at some point or another. Now, moving on to the odd one of the bunch, in my opinion, FNAF World. I don't mind FNAF World. I think it's fine. It does break the mold on what FNAF is supposed to be, as it's primarily a horror game series. But FNAF World is obviously not that. It makes these characters into a far more cuter appearance, putting them into more of a fantasy world. I don't mind it. I think the first version of FNAF World, though, was really ugly. It was update 2 when I think they fixed it to make it so, oh, now Freddy has his appearance in a battle on the overworld now. I think that's cool. I don't know. I played this like several years ago, so I don't remember absolutely everything. But I think FNAF World is fine. I don't understand the... Well, I do wonder actually. What did people say about FNAF World? Apparently it was really buggy on release, so it was naturally fixed in the second update. And also, not to mention, it's free. It's a free game now. So that's why I think that's probably why I'm actually putting a little bit of slack onto it. Because if you were giving me a game that isn't that great and putting a price tag on it, then I'm gonna be a little skeptical of how I feel about it. But since it was made better and free, I actually don't mind this. I think as now I will say there are like some things that I probably have to say about it. Combat could be better. Admittingly, combat could be better. There is kind of a meta of the fact that, like, oh, there's certain characters that are way better than others. I don't know. This is also the game that I probably have the hardest time actually criticizing. I did hear that FNAF World as the base game, like the very first version of FNAF World, was really rushed. And the graphics were not that great. I don't know. I'm not entirely sure. Yeah, this one's really hard for me to say. I don't know. I think this is fine. But yeah, maybe I need input from other people to actually properly like review this. Yeah, cause like there's a ton of reviews on FNAF World that really did not like this game. I'm seeing one that says unfinished, poorly designed, graphically unimpressive, unbalanced, seizure-inducing. Yeah, okay, yeah. The fact that, like, I did know that there was a lot of flashing screens. Well, rather, I forgot about it. But now that I saw it, okay, that's totally fair. It's also a really short game. Huh, who knows? Yeah. So I'm glad that this game was fixed, as otherwise I would probably put FNAF World right here. I'm gonna just keep it in meh. I don't know, I had a really hard time, like, actually, like, criticizing it. I just didn't mind it, weirdly enough. Maybe if I play it again, I will think differently about it, but, oh well. Okay, next up, sister location. So, on a first time playing this game, you will think, this is really interesting, right? But, well, okay, hold on. Let me say this again. So, if you're playing this for the first time, this is probably like a pretty impressive FNAF game on the surface. If you replay it, though, it is miserable. It is one of the more miserable games to play. It's actually one of the reasons why I didn't even finish my sister location like playthrough. Well, on my own time rather. Like I just did not want to play sister location because of two things. One, it's just I watched other people play it. And two, if I were to sit down to play it and I died at some point, the checkpoint system is terrible. Literally a horrible checkpoint system. If let's take night 5 for example, and you go to the entered night, right? If you die in the entered night, where does it take you? Do you restart from the beginning of the entered night? Do you start back at the sneaking around part where baby is telling you to go forward? No. You start at the very beginning of the night, where you're in like that part of the office where it's like you have to check if Ballora and Funtime Foxy are on their stages. You have to go right into Funtime Auditorium, fix baby, then sneak back outside, and then you go forward and right whenever baby tells you to go forward and left. What? There's no checkpoint anywhere. There's an entire video by that goes into why he doesn't like sister location, and I 100% agree with almost everything he says. So for that, I'm gonna put sister location in bad. It really, the checkpoint system really muddles with the gameplay. It was just like, oh, but why don't you just not die? You know, as a casual player, that's not really a feasible option. And I am a casual player, I will say. I'm not, like, hyper competitive. Really, the only thing that I'm competitive at when it comes to FNAF is FNAF 120 mode. That's the only thing that I'm, like, even competent at. But even then, there are, like, significantly better ways to do FNAF 120 mode than how I'm doing it. So, yeah. I don't like the cursor for FNAF sister location. Yeah, that's another thing that brought up in his video. The cursor in sister location is terrible. It's always in the middle of the screen. You can't move it around at all from the middle. What you have to do instead is just make it so, oh, everything's like in the middle of the screen. You have to have every single part of the gameplay. And this kind of fucks with you whenever you're doing stuff like the RNG code that baby gives you, because that part's RNG, by the way. If you click the wrong number, you will die for it. So, oh well. Same thing for the Ennard Knight. And also, Ennard Knight is just... Oh my god, dude. Okay, I would like Ennard Knight more if we just started over again from the beginning of Ennard Knight, not Knight 5. But first off, I'm pretty sure, isn't that Knight really long? And second off, Ennard moves so quickly. Like, his opportunity time to move is it progresses faster the longer you're in on the Knight. And it makes things almost unreactable sometimes. I think it's a fun challenge mode. Genuinely speaking, I think it's a fun challenge mode. It's just that I wish I could start over from the beginning of Ennard Knight and not Knight 5. The things that are/aren't scripted in FNAF Sister Location is something I never really thought. I think the lore drops in FNAF Sister Location is fine. You get clues on how it worked, and then also, that's right, if you want to unlock the Ennard Knight, you have to do the after death minigame and complete it correctly, and then I think you still need to get the bad ending once. Right? I might be misremembering. Yeah, so I'm just complaining about just Knight 5. Other than that, though, I think... Okay, because Knight 1 is a tutorial. Knight 2 is where you deal with Funtime Freddy and Ballora. Knight 3, I had a lot of trouble with Knight 3 because the instructions on how to deal with Funtime Foxy were not very clear to me. And maybe it's just like my comprehension skills, or rather lack of comprehension skills on how to deal with Funtime Foxy, but I didn't really understand how to deal with Funtime Foxy. Is it a skill issue of mine? And then Knight 4. That's all we need to say. Knight 4. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff, especially like as we progress to the end of Sister Location, that I think is really flawed. I think Knight 2 is actually the best part of vanilla Sister Location, weirdly enough. But the actual best part of Sister Location is Custom Night Sister Location. Okay, so it turns out sticking to the original formula of FNAF works really well with this game. And it's kind of in a thing where, hang on. So here's the catch, right? You need to finish both the good and bad endings in Sister Location to unlock this at all. And I find it a little strange that some characters are missing, like Circus Baby. But other than that, the gameplay is honestly really good. Because Funtime Freddy has a really unique mechanic where he moves to specific sides of the map, and depending on what he says, that makes it so you have to close one door. I think it's really cool. I don't think Yendo's mechanic is as good, but Laura's mechanic is pretty alright. Funtime Foxy is literally just Foxy again, which, yeah, that's fine. And then Biddy Bab, Lolbit, and Mini Arena are all, like, really standard. Those guys are kind of just throwaways. I think Bonnet is a little annoying with the middle cursor again. Because some people do die to Bonnet because, oh, the cursor is really weird and I can't click it. I can't click this gosh darn nose. But other than that, I think it's fine. And obviously, this was made for difficulty players, but it still functions as a horror game. I think it's really well done. Something that's nice is that Electrobab will always be on the opposite side of Funtime Freddy, I believe. I will say the fact that I will say that the mini arenas and Electrobabs being like scripted to be always in one place makes them a tad bit predictable. But also I think it's fine. I think it's alright. I don't know. Scott was tasked to make a really hard game with a sister location. I think he actually did really, really good. Now let's move on to Fnaf 6, or Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria Simulator, or Pizza Sim for short. Okay, why is the gameplay made like that? This is if you took FNAF 3 to the extreme. Because, like, okay, compared to FNAF 3, well, compared to Pizza Sim, FNAF 3 is so much more fun to play than not Sister Location, Pizza Sim, in my opinion. Because, theoretically, the nights can be as long as you want them to be. You have a number of tasks to do, but if an animatronic is nearby, you have to flash into a vent. If you make and you have to be silent doing it. If you make too much noise, then they're just gonna kill you anyways. And I'm not gonna lie, I don't think that's very fun. I really, really, really hate this gameplay loop. And it also just doesn't help that it's really hard. There's no visual indicators either. I wish there was some semblance of a visual indicator. I really wish that there was like something I could see that says, oh, the animatronic is nearby. Instead, no, it's completely reliant on audio cues. Like FNAF 4, okay, yeah. But sometimes when you die in Pizza Sim, it's not your fault. In my opinion. I have to say in my opinion because I feel like some people might take my words as like fact or something and like misconstrue what I'm saying. I don't know. And like, okay, there's also the fact that like if you want specific endings, then the tycoon part of FNAF 6 is there too. you have to get sued and run out of money to get one of the endings, which is really funny. If you want like if you want the true ending, you need to follow paragraph 4. And have it so you have the absolutely hardest possible night 5, or rather the hardest Sunday or Saturday. Was it Saturday or Sunday? I don't remember. Yeah, it was hardest Saturday. Yeah, Saturday. It was that. Cause like yeah, people are saying turn up the volume really high. You have to put audio somewhere, start the tasks, and have a fan on. always look to the opposite side of where you put the audio. And if you hear anything in the vents, shut everything off, even if you're doing a task, and turn to the side of where you saw the spooky sound, or rather heard the spooky sound. So if you want the optimal way of playing FNAF 6, and it's not going to be very popular with a lot of people, the optimal way of playing through FNAF 6 is Does that sound like something you want to do? Hello, Fred. Welcome to the stream. I'm just gonna say right now, that part there was for specifically when I edit this video. The optimal way to, and this is gonna be the unedited part. The optimal way of playing FNAF 6 is patience. People hate being patient. People do not like being patient. Come on, let's be real. Hands up high for anyone who hates being patient. Yeah. So, now with that said, at the end of Saturday, you are rewarded with an amazing speech, an amazing lore drop, the hardest possible ending. Like that speech goes hard by Henry, by the way. That's like my favorite part of FNAF 6. Because that goes hard. Now, you don't have to do Hardest Saturday. You don't have to you don't have to be that guy and say, oh, I want to get more money, but make it so the night itself is harder. I don't know. I don't like FNAF 6 because the gameplay is really boring, and if you get the ads on during the gameplay, it just makes the gameplay needlessly harder. I think it's RNG when the ads pop up too, which is really annoying too. Now, I am not sure if this is a hot take. Did you hear about, yeah, I did hear about that. That's really unfortunate. Now, I have a hot take, right? I don't even know if this might be a hot take. But as a game, Ultimate Custom Night is really garbage. I really think that Ultimate Custom Night is not a good game. Now, why do I say that? Why do I have Custom Night here while Sister Location Custom Night and Five Nights at Freddy's 1, which pretty much has the vanilla FNAF game experience, like here, like why do I have these two games here and then Ultimate Custom Night here? Simply put, there is way too much that's happening. There is way too many things going on in this game, and that's the point, right? That was the point of Ultimate Custom Night, which I get, but I think in trying to make this game so hard, some of the gameplay things that I'm seeing, first off, have you seen the controls in this game? Have you seen the keyboard graphic of when you first boot up a night in this game? That is really overwhelming to digest all of, right? But second, the reason why I don't think Custom Night is that great is because it does the same thing that FNAF World does, but significantly worse. And that is, it's not a horror game. Like, come on, let's be real. It is not a horror game. You do this specifically if you want to try beating the hardest mode possible. Because that's what this game was made for. It was made to be difficult, not to be scary. And speaking of being scary, can we talk about how so many of the jump scares are just shaking PNGs of some of the animatronics? Molten Freddy, for example, is a horrible, horrible jump scare. There's Nightmarian as well. There's Music Man. It's not good. It's just not good, man. In making this game so difficult, it makes everything else so ugly. In my opinion. That's what I think. I think why some jump scares are just PNGs is because Click Team probably couldn't handle if all the jump scares had animation. I disagree. If you were able to animate the jump scares in all of FNAF 1, 2, 3, 4, Sister Location Custom Night, and FNAF 6, you can definitely animate all of the jump scares in Ultimate Custom Night. I 100% disagree with that notion. And that's another thing. The animatronics are... Well, I think the mechanics of this game are really rushed. Because Scott was like... I don't know. Scott was on like this thing where like, yeah, he wants to make it really difficult. But he tried to get it out as quickly as humanly possible. But in doing that, it made it so a lot of stuff was just really ugly. Did the mechanics work? Yeah, they did. Impressively so, I will say. But the consequences of not polishing the actual looks of the animatronics when they scare you, it really boggles down to that. Yeah. I don't like how the jump scares look. Most of the jump scares look. I don't like how complicated the control... I also don't like how complicated the controls are. I don't like how there's so much going on all at once. To the point where you can easily get sensory overload from it all. From some max mode people I've heard where you can stall a good chunk of the UCN characters. Yeah, but that's also only if you're doing the max mode stuff. And that's also, like, if you know about that stuff, I guess. And, to be fair, this game was made for those people, so I guess that's a fair criticism, like, to say. So, like, not everything at all times is gonna happen all at once, but there's still a lot going on. And if you're a new player, forget about it, dude. You're not beating this game. You're not beating this game unless you grind hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours. Oh, and also, one more thing. The 3 hardest animatronics are all RNG. Wouldn't you know it? It's Toy Freddy, because he loses his game really quickly. The second is Funtime Foxy, where if you do not look at Funtime Foxy's curtain at a very specific time, you will still die. Even if you reach 6 a.m., you will die. And wouldn't you know it, my least favorite animatronic in the entire series, Foxy. My least favorite of all time. Oh my god. You need to have Bonnie on those cameras instead. If Foxy is there, you need to swap him back to Bonnie as soon as humanly possible. But even then, that's not really feasible on the max mode stuff. You just have to delay his timing to get in. That's really all it boils down to. Such a shame since I like Funtime Foxy as well. Yeah. It seems you couldn't make it to my show, so I brought the show to you. One thing I really wish was the case with some of these other games is that I wish that you were told why you died. And this is something that the Joy of Creation story mode actually did. Well, in actuality, actually, it was the Joy of Creation living room demo updated that started doing that. Because after you actually die, it will tell you usually why you died in the first place. I wish more games did that. You know? Am I the only person who wants that more for games? And even if it's in like a riddle kind of format, I think just doing that makes the gameplay like a little easier. It's just like, oh, that's how I died. So then you're primed, you're prompted to not do that error again, or at least try not to do that error again. And I think that's cool. I don't know. We're getting off to a side tangent about like other games. I like I said, I don't think Ultimate Custom Night is that good. In fact, I think it's a really bad game. Now, moving on to Help Wanted. So, I'm going to get this really quick out of the way. You're going to notice that there's a lot of other games here. But I have almost zero knowledge of these games. Except for maybe Ruin. But I don't feel comfortable ranking that. The only reason I ranked these games is that I have a little more knowledge about them, except for maybe Fnaf World. But I didn't have any complaints about Fnaf World. Especially after Update 2 came out. So, these are the only games that I've played, seen, or have somewhat extensive knowledge of. So, Help Wanted is the first of the modern era of FNAF. And I actually think this is a pretty well done game. It's a VR title, which automatically makes things much more immersive. And it takes you through all of the previous FNAF games, as well as some other technician stuff. Technician minigames. I think that's honestly really cool. And the fact that this is also how Glitch Trap came to be is really cool as well. There is an underlying story that happens, and it directly correlates with the future games. I think that concept is really cool. Now, obviously, there's going to be some little pitfalls. Obviously, with if you're playing this VR, there's going to be quite a few things that are quite finicky. There's also the fact that if you're not playing VR, it's like a lot less immersive. And then there's just like some things that I don't particularly get. Like, I don't. One thing I don't like about Glitch Trap is that if you get to the point where Glitch Trap is possessing you, you still lose. You still lose in the end. Whatever you do, even if you do absolutely, if you pull every single lever, press every single button correctly in the exact order that you're supposed to, you still lose. So it's like, it's a meaningless ending. I guess you can say you're stuck in the game and Glitch Trap is roams free and stuff, but I don't know. I don't think that really matters, dude. But other than that, that's really my only complaint with Help Wanted. Now, I have saved the worst for last. Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach. Dear God, this is the worst game in the entire series, in my opinion. In my opinion, this is the single worst game of FNAF, of the FNAF series as a whole. Taking every single era into account, this is still my least favorite FNAF game of all time. It is my pick for the worst one. It is so buggy. There's so many glitches that will occur. There are so many bugs that you will find. There's an entire video of Markiplier encountering bugs and glitches and crashes in this game. It was not ready to be released in its like initial launch. Cause like the difference between this and FNAF World, which I feel like a lot of people might compare this to maybe because like I had like somewhat similar criticisms with like update 1 of FNAF, well, the vanilla version of FNAF World and then the vanilla version of Security Breach. The difference between them is that FNAF World was just really ugly. It had, but as far as I remember, it also had not very many glitches, or at least intentional glitches, that, well, that's not the right word. It didn't have as many like unintentional glitches as it did Security Breach. It was just not complete. But even in a completed state, Security Breach was terrible, and I still think it's terrible. Oh my god. That's like my main problem with it, is that it was just released in a not finished way. And even after there are some updates to it, I still don't like it. Because some of the glitches are still there, some of the bugs are still there. It's stupidly CPU intensive to the point where it still crashes. And it's just not good. And gameplay wise, I don't think it's good either. And if you don't know anything about the books, which I had to learn all about the books as from the game theory videos, you won't know anything of what's going on in Security Breach. The only thing that I liked about Security Breach was Tangle, or the Blob as a lot of people call it. The reason why I liked Tangle so much is because it was a throwback. It was a visual throwback to a lot of the past games. And it's kind of ironic because a lot of theorists actually really hated the Blob because it was such a confusing mess to look at from a lore standpoint. Because, like, all of Funtime, I think it was Funtime Freddy, Bonnie from FNAF 1, Chica from FNAF 1, Mangle from FNAF 2, Puppet from FNAF 2, but it was missing its tier marks, and Circus Baby being part of the mess. And there was just a few endoskeletons there too, but I don't know. I really like that. I really liked it for some reason. I can't tell you why. Well, actually, no, I can. Like I said, it was a visual throwback. But I don't. I find it so funny that I like the one thing that almost every other person hated. So yeah, there's that. What about the live action movie? Okay, we're gonna go into a tangent about the FNAF movies, right? So, I'm gonna talk about FNAF 1 real quick, right? FNAF movie 1. I think... Let me open this in an alternate tab. Okay, so... Why is this so low quality? Oh my god, why is this so low quality? Seriously. Can I do this? Okay. FNAF 1 as a movie, I actually think wasn't bad. Well, it was bad, but at least there is a plot. There is like an actual comprehensive story. Right? Now, I wish the deaths were a little more brutal, personally. I do kind of wish that there weren't some things retconned in the film series. And also, what is it? It was, I will say, it was really fan servicey. I think it's fine to have some, but it shouldn't be littered throughout the entire like film. This was definitely, and that's another thing, right? This was made specifically for the fans. This film was made specifically for people who are interested in Five Nights at Freddy's. If you don't know anything about Five Nights at Freddy's, you are gonna be so confused as to what's going on. Right? Am I the only person who thinks that? And there are also just some things that are not explained. For example, why was the aunt who took the old woman who took custody of Abby momentarily just completely wiped from the film series after she just laid on the floor? Vanessa also honestly wasn't like that great of a part. I think she did a little better in FNAF 2's film rendition, but we'll get to that in a bit. Yeah, overall I think it was okay. Now, let's move to FNAF 2. Dear God, I hated this film. I hate this film. I hate this film so much. Oh my god. It's funny because it did exactly like the same thing that like FNAF 2 the game did, where it generated so much hype. But again, there are so many things that were retconned in this. let's get the positives out of the way, right? FNAF 1 had amazing graphics. Well, designs for the animatronics. FNAF 2 similarly has amazing designs for the animatronics. Look at this, dude. They look great. What I don't like about FNAF 2 is that it directly what is it? It directly retcons how certain animatronics were made. Almost all of the FNAF 2 animatronics were retconned in a way, now that I think about it. Because FNAF 1, it was basically said, oh, the murderer stuffed the bodies inside the animatronics, right? FNAF 2 throws that completely out the window. Most of these guys are not possessed. Well, that's a lie, huh? Half of the animatronics are not possessed. The withered animatronics, these are just prototypes that were made and then like controlled by the puppet, right? They did exactly the what the FNAF 2 segment, the gameplay segment did, right? I don't know. By the way, I don't think I'm gonna include this in the video. But like, dear God, it was a mess. You wanna know my least favorite part of FNAF 2? The fact that they did this fucking Avengers style type of comeback where the FNAF 1 animatronics came back and destroyed all of the other animatronics to save the protagonist. What the fuck was that? I cannot believe that made it in the script. I cannot believe that worked. There's also just a lot of fan service in this game, in this film too, especially with the beatbox meme. Well, I think actually that was good fan service, to be fair. That was really good fan service, but I don't know. I think this film was a mess. I can see why some people like FNAF 1 as a film. I cannot see why people like FNAF 2 as a film. It's not good. I don't think it's good. Nope. But yeah. That's about it from me. This will pretty much be the full list here. This is what I think about all the FNAF games. And let me just tell you why I actually think like this. It's because back in middle school, when I first discovered FNAF, I was like unhealthily like into FNAF. It was obsessed. It was obsession, yeah. Like, let's be real. I really hate looking back at that because I was also bullied for liking FNAF. So that kind of makes things like a little weird for me to think about. And then there's a point in time where I actually just straight up hated FNAF. Nowadays, I think it's whatever. But you can tell that my opinion on FNAF has gone significantly down. And it's not because of something you might say like, oh, I think, well, these are like fundamentally flawed games. Like certain aspects of them are like just flawed. But I think the reason why I was so critical on this just now was, for one, that was the point, but two, like, it's what I said before, I was bullied, and then there was a time where I just, like, straight up hated it. There is, like, literally a point where I renounced myself for liking FNAF. And there are some things that I still don't like about myself to this day, but I'm still trying to work on myself to do better. I don't know, this is kind of a history lesson for myself. I don't know. But, oh well. I'm actually gonna post this on Twitter. Why not? I hope no NSFW images come up on my Twitter. Let's see. Let's see it. Let's see this, guys. Alright. And it's their problem now. Look at this here. Now we got this on the screen. Look at that. Alright. But yeah, that's gonna be it for this video. Y'all have a good one. Okay. I'm gonna be honest, I'm a little hungry, so I'm probably gonna have to wrap up my stream right here. If you guys want some cool stuff to listen to, by the way, you should definitely check out the facts that I made, the lyric video for Oreo's Gangle song, Doctor Sessions. It's a really good song. It's a banger, in fact, I would say. And yeah, do something cool with your life. Like the fact that at the time of me streaming this, Deltarune came out, like Deltarune Chapter 5 came out like 12 hours ago. Play that. I'm not going to because I'm not too crazy about Deltarune personally, but yeah. You have a good one. In the meantime, I'm gonna go eat. Is there someone we can raid maybe? I don't know. I don't even know if I want to do that. Yeah. Okay. Tell you what. I'm gonna send y'all over to Midnight Waste, who is playing some Minecraft. So, yeah. Oh my gosh, they're playing some first-person shooter mode in Minecraft. That's actually really cool. Holy! Oh my god! Wait, that's so cool. Actually, what? All right, I'm gonna take you guys over to Midnight Wastes. So, yeah. Thank y'all for coming to the stream. If you guys enjoyed today's stream and you want to share your support, hit that like button down below for me. Give me a thumbs up. There's probably going to be a video at some point or another. I don't really care, but if you do, subscribe because it really helps on my channel, and I'm going to get the heck out of here. For those on the YouTube side, possibly check out the person we're rating. So, yeah. Bye-bye!